Welcome back, everybody. It's Oskino the Don here. The new video, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. New and old, run them likes up and drop some comments below. I want to know what you think about this topic today. So, what we're covering is the Pentagon wants to use AI weapons to autonomously unalive humans. My bad, y'all. Kind of stumbled over that word autonomously. Blood sugar a little low, but I got that going up right now. So yeah, right away, already think it's a bad idea. Why is it a bad idea? Well, we're giving AI programs weapons to unalive human beings. Now, I don't think y'all know how severe that is. That means that however these artificial intelligent weapons are programmed, they will autonomously unalive humans. Now we have to take a look at the programmer. I've always said from the jump, once they introduce AI into our world, that it's based on the programmer because AI can be good or it can be bad. Now, I don't think anything, human or technology, should have autonomous control over humans, especially when it comes to who gets unalived and who doesn't. We have to really have these programs and how they're ran open to the public. And when I say open to the public, I'm not talking about where the public is able to mess with the programming, but we have to know exactly how these things are programmed in the sense of how they will, quote unquote, autonomously unalive human beings. You have to know what the criteria is, because like I've said, there's already been instances where people who are breaking down the program of these AI show that it favors racism, sexism, and things of that nature. So already, like I said from the jump, it's a bad move, and it is looking more and more like Terminator and all of I Robot, all of these movies that you can think of that have a robotic, artificial intelligence theme where the programming goes awry. Now you see, in my humble opinion, that is exactly where they can blame AI and not take any of the responsibility if things go wrong. But it'll be blamed on the programmer. That's what it should be blamed on, and it should be blamed on the people who allow this programming to um, get the okay to be ran live. Like to for this programming to go live. So, like I said, they're gonna try to escape any responsibility for if things go quote unquote wrong. But in my opinion, things are gonna go exactly as planned because these things have to be programmed by a human being. But I want to bring up an article that came to my attention that shows that the Pentagon is moving closer to wanting AI to have autonomous control over unaliving human beings. So let's get to it. So what we got right here, as I bring up the article, wow. And this is from Business Insider. Title of it is The Pentagon is moving toward letting AI weapons autonomously decide to, I'm not going to use that word, but unalive humans. You get what I'm saying. So there's a little picture depiction of South Korean military drones flying in formation during a joint military drill with the U.S. at Sungwon Fire Training Field in Pocheon on May 25th, 2023. So the article goes on to say that the deployment of AI controlled drones that can make autonomous decisions about whether to unalive human targets is moving closer to reality, the New York Times reported. Lethal autonomous weapons that can select targets using AI are being developed by countries including the United States, China, and Israel. Interesting. So the use of the so-called killer robots will mark a disturbing development, say critics, handing life and death battlefield decisions to machines with no human input. There you go. But the human input that I mentioned is the programming. And how are these things programmed? Well, like I said, there can be a lot of prejudice programmed into these AI. You don't believe me? Take a look at these movies that came out in the past and that are gonna keep coming out. It's showing you right in front of your face, y'all. Y'all gotta be you can't be oblivious to this. And in my humble opinion, before I finish reading this article, yes, voting does matter, but it matters to you have to do the research, which is what I am doing currently. I'm researching which candidates are owned by which corporations, because these corporations actually have a say in what laws get passed. And like I said, money talks, right? But if you can't be bought, then you know that I'm talking to you. So we have to do our due diligence, which I'm doing now, which is researching which corporations own which candidates and not vote for them and to actually boycott these corporations. You have to really be about it though if you don't want this stuff to happen. If you don't want to see a terrible future for the children that are not even here yet and the children that are here, because as adults, it's our job and our duty to protect women and children. And this would be a large part of that. So the article goes on to say several governments are lobbying for the UN for a binding resolution restricting the use of AI killer drones. But the United States is among a group of nations, corporations, which also includes Russia, Australia, and Israel, who are resisting any such move, favoring a non binding resolution instead, the Times reported. Here's a quote. This is really one of the most significant inflection points for humanity, Alexander Meant, Austria's chief negotiator on the issue, told the Times. What's the role of human beings in the use of force? It's an absolutely fundamental security issue, a legal issue, and an ethical issue. I definitely agree, particularly because AI can be programmed to do a thing that the particular programmer wants it, and then they're going to turn around and try to blame, oh, it must have malfunctioned. Nobody. I highly doubt it did. They say, "Oh, AI is growing on its own." Like you can program it to actually learn things. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but learn particular things, specific things. I'm gonna keep it at that. Let you guys read in between the lines. The Pentagon is working towards deploying swarms of thousands of AI-enabled drones, according to a notice published earlier this year. In a speech in August, U.S. Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks said technology like AI controlled drone swarms would enable the United States to offset China's People's Liberation Army numerical advantage in weapons and people. It's always them. It's always my country, United States, talking about what another country's doing and worried and want to instill fear so that they can implement something like this, which I think would be towards the destruction of humanity. That's my opinion. I mean, it just seems like they keep on creating situations to instill fear in people for people who live in fear, and that's how they galvanize the public's approval to further take away our rights, our privacy, and things of that nature. Says we'll counter the PLA's mass with mass of our own, but ours will be harder to plan for, harder to hit, harder to beat. She said, reported Reuters. Frank Kendall, the Air Force Secretary, told the Times that AI drones will need to have the capability to make lethal decisions while under human supervision. Individuals Individual decisions versus not doing individual decisions is the difference between winning and losing, and you're not going to lose, he said. I don't think people we would be up against would do that and would give them a huge advantage if we put that limitation on ourselves. See, it's all about war and unaliving people and for profit and things of that nature. Stuff I never agreed with. New Scientist reported in October that AI controlled drones have already been deployed on the battlefield by Ukraine in its fight against the Russian invasion, though it's unclear if any have taken action resulting in human casualties. The Pentagon did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So, yeah, there's that for that article. Like I said, none of this means anything good in my opinion, particularly because the people who control majority of the AI have a certain agenda that I believe is not to the benefit for the majority, only for the few, the 1%, the central banking people and the 13 royal families who, all presidents and prime ministers have to answer to at the end of the day. But I'm gonna leave that topic here for now. Like I said, if you're new to the channel or not, Run them likes up, please. Drop a comment because I want to hear from y'all what y'all think about this. What's the solution? I gave a solution. A lot of people may not agree with it because they don't know how these corporations and voting works, but that's where it starts. You got to study the corporations and who they back, where they put their money, and boycott those corporations. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, share this link with a friend, because all I do is give informative information that will transform humanity for the better. Peace and one love to everybody who got love for everybody. Old school Notre Dame.